Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today I am going to be ranking every single Sonic game from worst to best. I have wanted to do a Sonic ranking video for a while because I do have a big thing for Sonic at the moment because, you know, the most recent film. So today we are going to be ranking all the games, 2D and 3D, excluding the racing games and the Olympic games and Sonic Riders. They're not on the list at all. This is just the platformers. Now let's get into it, shall we? Number 29, Sonic Boom, The Rise of Lyric. This is probably the most obvious one on the list, but in my opinion, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is probably the worst Sonic game in the entire series. Mainly due to the fact the graphics were poor for a Wii U game, of course. The music tracks are quite forgettable, even though the Sonic franchise might be known for having good music. It's just Sonic Boom had forgettable music, and I just feel like Sonic Boom, The Rise of Lyric, was a failed attempt to make an exploring-based Sonic game instead of making it level-based. Number 28, Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Why does this game even exist? I don't really know, to be honest, because Sonic 06 released back in 2006 to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, probably just to bring this to next-gen consoles at the time, being the Xbox 360 and the PS3. But of course, not being as well made as Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Colors, of course, I just think this game was so unpolished and the controls were a bit complicating. And that's why Sonic 06 is this low on the list. Number 27, Sonic the Hedgehog 4. The only reason I wasn't really a fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is probably due to the fact that this game was split into multiple parts. I don't know why they had to do that. They did it with The Last of Us, but of course, it wasn't actually confirmed at the time that it was going to be a two-part game. But back to Sonic the Hedgehog 4, this game had 2 episodes spanning between 2 years. And the only problem with this game is Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was never complete. I just find the game terrible because it was incomplete. But if there was a fan game out there that completed the story of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, maybe I might take a look at it and give it a second chance. Number 26, Tails Sky Patrol. The only reason this game is low on the list is probably due to its gameplay. All you really did in the game is play as Tails and dodge bad guys to keep the ring safe. And the fact this game was 15 minutes long was probably the weak point here. And I probably bet for you guys who grew up in the 90s would only have this game out for about an hour, but would probably leave it on your shelf for months. And for you guys who are all hoping to get a Tails spin-off one day, well, we did end up getting 2 Tails spin-offs for the Game Gear, which, in my opinion, I don't think the Sonic franchise translated well into 8-bit. I just think it worked better in 16-bit. Number 25, Sonic the Hedgehog, Minecraft. Yes, this doesn't count as a Sonic game, but I only put it on the list because I thought the levels in the Minecraft DLC for Sonic is a bit repetitive. I just feel like as you kept playing the game, the levels got a bit annoying. And it just felt the same. But the only benefit of Sonic the Hedgehog Minecraft is that you get some Sonic skins for Minecraft. And the fact that this DLC runs terribly on the Switch is probably another weak point, because the Nintendo Switch is personally my go-to platform for Sonic games. Number 24, Sonic Chaos. I know this game only released on the Master System, but I just feel like the gameplay for Sonic Chaos doesn't really capture the Sonic formula, because at the end of the day, this did release on the Master System, but I understand not that much could have been done due to hardware limitations. Like, the music was okay, but I just don't think the gameplay overall is that great. Number 23, Sonic Triple Trouble. I don't really understand the naming strategy for this game, because Triple Trouble when you can only play as Sonic and Tails. The only reason it could have been called Triple Trouble is if there was like 3 characters or something. But Knuckles was probably more of a villain than a playable character in this game. Similar to how Knuckles was a villain, like, earlier in the Sonic franchise. But Triple Trouble is probably another prime example on why Sonic doesn't work in 8-bit. Number 22, Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice. Getting all the bad Sonic games out of the way, we're now on to the meh Sonic games. Like, Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, like, the gameplay wasn't terrible. I just wasn't really a fan of the game's plot. Like, and the cutscenes just felt like you were watching an episode of the TV show, and I didn't think the Sonic Boom TV show was that good at all. And I'm hoping the upcoming Sonic Prime for Netflix is way better than the Sonic Boom TV show, of course. Number 21, Sonic 3D Blast. I know this game came out in like the 90s, but I feel like Sonic 3D Blast did a whole bunch of wrong things. I feel like I wasn't a fan of the game's title. Like, the gameplay, I found a bit meh, because it was easy to get lost. And the D-pad on the Genesis controller, it just didn't feel right playing a 3D game with a D-pad. And I feel like if this came out on the Dreamcast and didn't have 16-bit graphics, that maybe this game would have been better. And the game's story was okay at most. Number 20, Sonic Forces. I know a lot of people would probably put this around the bottom of the list. Like, a lot of people would probably say Sonic Forces is a bad game, but to me, it's just meh. Like, I thought the graphics were good. It runs at 60 FPS. I do like the fact that you can customize your own character in the game. The story was okay. But one of the game's biggest problem might have to be the cringe dialogue. The dialogue in the game was cringe. And that's probably what hurts with modern Sonic. Apart from Sonic Mania, of course. That game doesn't have dialogue at all. Number 19, Sonic Lost World. I wanted to like this game, but couldn't. I just felt like the gameplay was a bit meh. The story wasn't a bit interesting. The levels were a bit curved. Like, why are the levels curved? But the only thing I really found interesting about Lost World as a game was probably Zavok. And I wasn't really a fan of Sonic Lost World special levels because it involves you using gyro controls on the 3DS to even complete them. And there's no option to turn them off either, which does make it a bit more of a pain. Number 18, Sonic and the Secret Rings. Now getting the meh out of the way, we're now moving on to the more okay Sonic games. Like, Sonic and the Secret Rings, I thought the story was alright. The villain was good. It's just the controls sucked. Like, for you people who just want to enjoy this game without having to worry about motion controls, I just think Sonic and the Secret Rings is probably not the kind of game that people who despise motion controls would play. Number 17, Tails Adventure. At least this game is longer than 15 minutes. Like, this game was way better than Sky Patrol. That released on the Game Gear. But Tails Adventure plays out a lot like Metroid, which, if you are a Metroid fan, this is probably the closest you are going to get to Metroid on the Game Gear. So if you are looking for a Game Gear game, this might be an alright one to pick up. Number 16, Sonic Advance 2. This game does remind me of a Flash game. A little bit, because I do remember playing Sonic Flash, I think, a while back. And the game's music reminds me a bit of that. A bit. I don't know why, but it just does. Like, the music is good. the gameplay's alright, and the plot's alright. But Sonic Advance might be a game on my list if it were to come to Switch Online, the Game Boy Advance collection. Number 15, Sonic CD. This game isn't the best, or it isn't the worst. I feel like I'm quite mixed with this game. Because, if you know me, I'm more into the classic Sonic games than the modern ones, with Mania being the only exception. But there are a few exceptions to the modern ones, but I am more into the classic Sonic games. But CD does actually have an interesting mechanic, actually allowing you to time travel between past and future if you go fast enough. And also introducing characters such as Metal Sonic and Amy to the Sonic franchise for the first time. Number 14, Sonic Advance. Sonic Advance, I do think this game is actually better than the Game Gear Sonic games. Because I do think with the Game Boy Advance that you are able to pack more playable characters into the game. Like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy. I do think Sonic Advance does have a good gameplay. Like, the plot is fine. But I do like the gameplay, though. Number 13, Sonic the Black Knight. I don't understand why people hate this game. But I actually think Sonic Black Knight is alright. Like, the sword play mechanic, I do think, is an interesting element to this game. Although I wasn't a fan of the game's soundtrack, the story was alright. And I do really love the Sonic wielding a sword in this game. But I feel like the game would have been better if it released on a console that wasn't the Wii. Because although the sword mechanic has to do with the motion controls, they could have made it better by having motion controls optional, or maybe just pressing buttons, similar to The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, which ended up releasing last year. Number 12, Sonic Unleashed. We're now stepping away from the okay, and now moving on to the good. Like, I do think the concept of Sonic Unleashed is interesting, because we do have the mechanic of Sonic turning into a werehog. Like, I like the gameplay. It does have a good story, and I'm fine with the soundtrack. But the only thing I am mad about with this game is IGN giving it a 4.5. Are you joking? A 4.5. IGN kind of makes me mad sometimes with their reviews. Yeah. But Sonic Unleashed is still fun to play. Number 11, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. This game, I don't know why on earth this didn't get a Sega Classics release, but Sonic 3 was actually a hidden gem. Like, of course, this is the game that introduced Knuckles, and I really loved the soundtrack for this game. Like, composed by the 80s legend himself, Michael Jackson, I do think Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in the entire franchise has the best soundtrack. Even though there have been certain Sonic tracks that I really adored throughout the series, like Emerald Hill Zone from Sonic 2, I do think Sonic 3 stands out for a soundtrack. And it is a bummer that in the Origins collection, they couldn't get the rights to use Michael Jackson's soundtrack for this game. Number 10, Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure was probably the start of the golden era of 3D Sonic, consisting of Sonic Adventure, Adventure 2, Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehog, which I don't understand why that game's hated. But IGN, of course, had to make me mad again by giving Sonic Adventure a 3.5. I know IGN sort of sucks at reviewing stuff, but this is crazy. Sonic Adventure was a gem. And if I had to make a ranking video ranking every single Sonic soundtrack, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 would be in my top 10. And I do like the gameplay a lot better compared to the modern 3D Sonics. And for crying out loud, they have a level where you run away from an orca. How did you not miss that? And IGN, if you're watching this, you had to make me mad by your Sonic Adventure review. Number 9, Knuckles Chaotix. I probably bet most of you watching this video have never heard of Knuckles Chaotix, but if you have heard of characters such as Vector the Crocodile, Espio the Chameleon, and Charmy the Bee, this is actually the game where they originated from. And I was kind of surprised myself that this was the game where Mighty the Armadillo first appeared. If you've played Sonic Mania before, you'll know what I mean. Like, I don't hate the concept of this game. I do think it is fun and gives you a bit more variety, that you don't select your character and that one is selected out at random for you. I do think with each character having its own unique moveset, Knuckles Chaotix is one I cannot get bored of for its colourful and vibrant gameplay. Number 8, Sonic Adventure 2. The sequel to Sonic Adventure, I do think Sonic Adventure 2 is a step up from the original Sonic Adventure, of course. Even though Sonic Adventure was a good game, the sequel was actually better. And unlike the modern day Sonic games, Sonic Adventure 2 allowed you to take your own path, picking either hero or dark. And it does give you different perspectives from the story as well. And introducing one of my favourite Sonic characters of all time, being Shadow. And speaking of Shadow, number 7, Shadow the Hedgehog. This is probably the last IGN rant I'm going to make this video, but why on earth is Shadow the Hedgehog hated? Like, I don't understand why Shadow the Hedgehog got a lot of hate, because personally, I think this game is good. I think it's good. I like the soundtrack, because it reminds me of being in a mid to late 2000s arcade, and for some reason, reminds me of the Q soundtrack of Oblivion at Alton Towers. Only UK viewers will get what I mean. And the graphics might be ahead of its time, but I do think Shadow the Hedgehog does give plenty of development for Shadow. And I am hoping that they do give Shadow the Hedgehog a reboot in the future, because this game was enjoyable, even though it probably might be the darkest Sonic game in the franchise and a bit ahead of its time. Number 6, the original Sonic the Hedgehog from 1991. I do think the original Sonic the Hedgehog might have forgettable worlds. Like, I can remember the names of some worlds in this game. I can remember Green Hill Zone, Marble Zone, Labyrinth Zone, and Final Zone. But I do think half of the names of the worlds in the first Sonic, I might forget. Even though this game didn't include fan favorites such as Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, and a lot more. But this game was actually my childhood. I think I played this like when I was like 9 on mobile. And I still have fun playing the original Sonic to this date. Now, getting into the top 5 with number 5, Sonic Heroes. I still don't understand why this game gets mixed reviews nowadays, but I do think Sonic Heroes is an interesting concept. Like, you can switch between different characters during the levels if you're stuck in certain situations, and it gives you 4 different teams to choose from, being Team Sonic, Team Dark, Team Rose, and Team Chaotix. Even though this game does contain one of my most hated Sonic characters of all time, being Big the Cat, I do enjoy Sonic Heroes, and each team does have a different story depending on which team you choose. And I am hoping, if we do eventually get a remake for this game, that they could add 2 more teams to the mix. Number 4, Sonic Generations. Probably one of the best modern Sonics besides Sonic Mania. I do think Sonic Generations does take us on a trip down memory lane, giving us remakes of zones we already know of, such as Green Hill Zone, Mushroom Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, and a lot more, and also brings Sonic's classic design to 3D for the first time. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I do think is actually better than its original 1991 counterpart, but this game actually does introduce us to Miles Tails Prower, being one of Sonic's first closest friends. Even though Sonic CD was set in between the first Sonic and this game, even though we've had Amy in that game, I just count Tails as his first friend to ever be introduced into the Sonic franchise. And I do like some of the zones in this, such as Emerald Hill and Chemical Plant. And I really like the final boss in this game as well, being the Death Egg Robot. I still find it really hard to beat, and that's the joy of playing this game. Number 2, Sonic Mania. Probably my favourite 2D Sonic. I do think Mania is quite a fun game to play, and doesn't actually give me a shortage of things to do. You can create multiple save files in this game, so if you want to go back to the game and play it as an individual character, you can go ahead and do that. I have played the game 5 times, and I'm currently on my 6th as Ray. I actually find the levels in this game quite memorable, and in the entire Sonic franchise, the special levels, Sonic Mania has the best special levels of them all. With Sonic Lost World having the worst, Sonic Mania has the best. And does introduce us to characters such as Mighty and Ray. Well, not Mighty because he appeared in Knuckles Chaotix, but at least we get to try out Ray as well, which, in my opinion, the movesets of Mighty and Ray I am finding hard to master, but it does take a while to get used to. And I do hope Mighty and Ray appear again in the franchise at some point, because I do think them two are quite underused. Number 1, Sonic Colors. My God. Sonic Colors is my favorite 3D Sonic game of all time. I love the concept of this game. Even though the remaster did have a rocky launch, I do think a theme park in space is an interesting concept. And introducing us to new characters called Wisps, actually giving Sonic unique abilities that can be used on different planets to Eggman's interstellar theme park. And I do find the story interesting as well. And the soundtrack is phenomenal. So guys, what did you think of my Sonic ranking video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss more ranking videos in the future. This is probably the longest ranking video I have done so far, but an Overwatch hero ranking video I am considering doing is probably going to be longer than this, because I am going to do a video where I rank all the Overwatch heroes before Overwatch 2 launches in October. So I'll see you all in a future ranking video. BB8 out.